I know you've all been eager to throw your sharks, whales, squids, turtles, mosasaurs, and whatever else you have cooked up in your labs at my giant shark. So, it's time to announce that my tournament has officially begun. Also, you better appreciate this because it took a while to get them all set up like this on my floor. So, to start off, we have an opening act, which will sort of display how things are going to operate in the tournament. Because this hybrid almost made it into the tournament, but didn't quite get in. However, it felt really awkward to start on episode 19 instead of 20. So, this is what this episode is going to be about. The hybrid that didn't quite make it. This is Rawmeatus. Amazing name, 10 out of 10. And it's a giant amphibian, which is very unique in the hybrid community. Haven't really seen too many amphibious hybrids. There might be a reason for that though. So let's get into the genome. Rawmeatus consists of the extinct amphibian Rawmeatus as the base. Lead Sickphes for an increase in size. Orca to enhance intelligence and myoglobin levels along with other traits which I am not educated enough to understand. Peacock flounder provides camouflage. And the zebrafish provides regeneration. There's honestly not too many problems with Rawmeatus, except for the fact that there are sort of three. First one, the peacock flounder for camouflage. It can be a useful trait, but almost all aquatic hybrids have either echolocation or electroreception, which renders the camouflage kinda useless. The other thing is zebrafish for regeneration, which, as I'm sure we all know for regenerative animals, it's not so useful in the heat of combat, as it can take these creatures a long time to regenerate their lost body parts, and by the time they do, it'll probably already be dead and torn apart by Bruce. The other big problem with Rawmeatus is that he's made to be an amphibian, but he was made to be way larger than any normal amphibian, which means that this creature's land capabilities are not really going to be very good. Amphibians excel in both the land and the water, but with the increased size comes increased weight, and a 15 meters long and 15 tons in weight. This creature is not really going to do well at all on land, considering it's heavier than an elephant. But in the water it would actually fare better. However, since amphibians aren't as specialised for full aquatic life as, say, a shark, or any other fish for that matter, means Bruce is going to feel much more comfortable. And also, I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be a problem, but considering the battles will be taking place in salt water, and I feel like amphibians are used to more other kinds of water that aren't salty. You don't normally see amphibians out in the ocean, so I feel like that could also be a problem with the salt. Now, normally for these kinds of battles, Bruce would likely be fighting with Chuck, but Chuck is unfortunately absent at the moment due to having to deal with a rogue Rawmeatus in the Bay of Bengal. Which, honestly, interesting backstory about that, by the way. I feel like that mainly happened was because, after the Sharkopaths pretty much cleared the Bay of Bengal of predators, it opened up a big power vacuum, which Rawmeatus was determined to fill, becoming the apex of the region, since the Sharkopaths didn't exactly stick around. So, technically, Chuck was more sent to clean up the mess that they made. But enough of that. Bruce will be fighting this battle alone. The newly designed and upgraded Bruce, being bigger, without being slower, and much deadlier. So let's get down to the fight. Ahead of the big tournament fights that Bruce will be participating in, he's receiving a little bit of a warm-up match, per se, being against this giant amphibian, Rawmeatus. Being much larger, it also means it's relatively slower, and its body might be harder than, say, a typical fish or amphibian, but it's not exactly made of bite-proof material. Bruce is still able to chomp into this creature fairly easily, because come a larger size comes a more powerful bite force, and those specialised teeth do wonders in tearing through armor. Eventually, Bruce is managing to tear off one of the back front flippers that Rawmeatus has, and while he tries to turn around to try and bite Bruce back, Bruce is just too quick and is able to avoid it before he ends up biting him on the tail, causing some more damage. And eventually, after enough bites, Rawmeatus is... I don't really know how else to put this. I kind of want to make a pun about it, but I'm not going to. Let's just say he's dead. Rawmeatus is definitely a unique hybrid, but this hybrid was clarified to have been rushed. That's kind of what you get for when you rush a hybrid. It leaves imperfections, ones that Bruce will be more than willing to exploit. So, that's pretty much how the fight will go. Now it's time to talk about the big thing, the tournament. Next episode, episode 20, marks the start of the tournament for the final 16. And before I start, please don't pester me to ask when the next episode will be coming out. I don't really know, and honestly, after spending the last couple of weeks drawing more than 20 different hybrids, you can feel the burnout. So, I'm probably going to end up taking some time to focus more on judging the combatants, as well as starting some other things, because, I do have a snake hybrid that I had planned for another different kind of competition, probably after this one though, because I don't want to be working on two big competitions at the same time. So, episode 20, the start of the tournament, it will basically be me briefly covering all of the participants, basically stating what their big strengths are and explaining how things are going to sort of work in future episodes. Because just because they are the final 16 don't mean that they are the definitive best 16 to take on Bruce. In fact, around half of them end up getting hanged. So, yeah. Good luck with that, because I also don't know if I'm going to be judging these alone. I may or may not be recruiting some backup judges to help with the judging. But then again, I'm still uncertain on that. So, next week will mark the true start of this tournament, and to everyone participating in it, good luck. You're going to need it.